Well, I am hoping that, normally we lead off with the stupid Detroit Lions. I'm hoping you're smart enough to steer us in a different direction.
Well, let's just start here, Terry, because what I saw last night, and you know what I always say, Stone Cold Steve Austin was my favorite wrestler. I got, Grind Time Wrestling is D-Mac Stone Cold. Well, we got Stone Cold Isaiah Stewart of the Pistons here last night, and we got to start with the Pistons. Obviously, having LeBron James and those dreaded Lakers in town. Obviously, with the star power of that lineup, Davis, Westbrook, everything else. But Pistons come up a little bit short. But there were some festivities down at the. What did you think about all the extracurriculars?
I loved it. I thought this was 1989 all over again, with people running all over the place. Beef stew, pissed off, and trying to get at LeBron James. So I loved it. I just thought it was a delightful thing. Not that I'm for violence, of course, but nothing really happened. And plus, you can make a case that Beef Stew really want to get at LeBron James, because how many times in sports do we see, man, I'm going to get this guy and everything, and then I'm with you, I'm saying, hey, what's up, D-Mac? How you doing there, bro?
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're a listening audience, 93.5, 99.1, HD2, 94.7, on the radio, we're playing the video right here where you see there's a hard foul and get in his face. But the whole thing, when you see it erupt, it sort of dies down. But, Terry, it's hard enough to try to avoid the opposing team's players when you have to avoid tackling, because Cade Cunningham made a great, maybe leadership role with everybody. But if you get a chance to go on YouTube or watch exactly what happens, there's the ebbs and flows of this. Now, I wanted to ask you, because I have you here, and you mentioned the 89. You were right there for the bad boys. You were up front. You were center to see this. What's the difference as we see Isaiah Stewart running? It looks like he's trying to break tackles. He looks like DeAndre Swift there running through the line.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
He's running through security and everything, and then he sees DeAndre Jordan. All of a sudden, he's like, I think I better stop right here.
Do you think he stopped?
Yeah, he did. He saw DeAndre Jordan.
I think there's 8,000 guys there, and I think...
No, brother. He's going through these dudes, mowing through, and he sees DeAndre Jordan. All of a sudden, he's like, I can't move anymore.
See, here's the thing.
Play it again, brother.
I don't think it was that he couldn't move anymore. Is that by the time he was tired from breaking 8 tackles of his own guys, But the fact that
didn't want to get his ass kicked. How about that?
Or do you think he would have got his ass kicked?
But not by LeBron. DeAndre Jordan.
No, I understand that. That's where I liked where you see where the different guys step up. If that happened in a hockey game, obviously, I'm going to be DeAndre Jordan. You're not going to get to Yzerman or Fedorov or whatever. Here's the thing. Back in the day, my question is, if Bill Laimbeer wanted to get a guy, if Rick Mahorn wanted to get a guy, they got the guy, right?
Bill Laimbeer got Charles Barkley, and Charles Barkley is a tough guy. They were thumping. They didn't stop when they saw each other. No, they started thumping.
And that's
let's go New York Knicks and Miami Heat. They didn't stop. Those dudes fought. I think I loved what I saw out of Beef Stew. There's some emotion. He felt that he got disrespected and stuff. But look at my man right here. All right. All of a sudden, there's DeAndre Jordan, and all of a sudden, these security guards are much too strong for me now. I just mowed through these mugs a minute ago, and I was like, oh, my God.
I don't know if you're out there, but welcome to the chat. I'd like to see, we mentioned this. We got this conversation on the show the other day about Joinks saying, man, I wish they'd let us fight in football and stuff like this.
Right.
And I said you should, guys get mad at each other, have a ring outside, take shoulder pads, your helmets off, and go at it. I think that's the difference. Everybody trying to be peacemaker and stuff. It doesn't. I'd like to see everybody split out and then have their beef or whatever the two guys and be done with it. But that's not the way it is. Instead,
there's a difference between NFL players, NHL players, and NBA players. NBA players are more like mini corporations than the other sports. And I think these players realize how important and how much money they generate. They don't want to get hurt out there. Yeah, I want to show my boys I'm tough. I'll go up there and smack you across the face until I'm actually in your face, and then I might slow down a little bit. And NFL and NHL, it's like, we fighting because I got to fight. This is what I do. I got to protect my teammate. I got to do things. Now, as far as Beef Stew, I think if he had gotten in front of LeBron James the second time, yeah, I think he would have swatted him. But I do not believe he wanted any part of DeAndre Jordan. And DeAndre Jordan, I don't think would have fought him. I think he would just push them back and say, make sure you don't get close to LeBron James. Because LeBron James is not an NBA player. He's the NBA.
That's a good point, Terry, because you got to protect the king, right? You got to protect the king.
But man, all of a sudden, he just went through, he was almost on the ground, stepped going, and then all of a sudden, there's DeAndre Jordan. All of a sudden, he can't do it. Yeah, he's stopping. He's tired now.
I don't read as much as that into it. As far as I'd want to know from Pistons fans and stuff like this. Like you said, you loved it. I loved it too because it shows you that like a care and emotion. That's something that these guys can build around. To me, is it more of the show because you're never gonna get into a real fight in basketball like it was back in the day?
You're not going to get into a fight with LeBron James.
Right.
They're not going to allow that to happen. They would have snipers up in the second or third tier to shoot your ass if you hit LeBron James. That's how much he means to the league.
So you think when they play and getting questions in the chat, when is the next game? Well, Sunday, November 28th
Which,
in LA.
Isaiah Stewart will not be in the building.
He
Trust
won't.
me. No, they'll suspend him, and they will time it so that he won't play Sunday.
And that's the.
So we got to wait next year at the LCA to see what's going to happen.
That's because of LeBron. If this was anybody but LeBron, what if this was like Westbrook or it was somebody else on that team?
Yeah, I think I think they got to show some strength in the league, so they're going to suspend him. But I definitely think with LeBron, he will not be there Sunday. Westbrook, maybe. But, here's the other thing. Maybe not with Westbrook because Westbrook is a little bit crazy. So I don't think they want to have a malice in the palace or a malice in – it's not even Staples Center anymore. They don't have a malice in L.A. because the reason that Stewart will get fined is because – that crowd was electrified. Even though nobody came on the court, Detroit was the place where things got out of hand with the Indiana Pacers many years ago, and they don't want this to happen again. So they're going to make him an example of him. But you got to suspend LeBron James too, because this little oops, that was deliberate.
Well, it was deliberate, and also too, as a lot of people were saying, is LeBron's public enemy number one here. He didn't even, what a cheap way to get out of the game or take the out. You don't want to play in Detroit or play against them. My question is what does this, in your opinion, does this help the Pistons as far as the locker room, as far as the youth, as far as, Dwayne Casey's message, galvanizing?
Yes, it does, because they need something. They need something to motivate and spark this team. It's a team with young talent. It's a team that they need something to motivate them, something to show them the way. Now, in the short term, it didn't do that because prior to the whatever you want to call it, the fight, the Pistons were moving the ball around, scoring at will, playing a good game. Then when this happened, they started playing one-on-one basketball. And when you do that against good teams, guess what? You're not going to score. They're going to shut you down. Cade Cunningham tries to shoot a three over Anthony Davis. Then he gets the ball and then tries to drive on Anthony Davis. The last play of the game was, I thought, was a very good setup to try to tie with a three-pointer, but it went right into the wheelhouse of Anthony Davis. So the Pistons played too much one-on-one basketball. They forgot what got them there, and I don't know if the emotions of Beef Stew wanting to fight LeBron got in their head, or they just felt they could do no wrong.
Well, I think that one of the things is there's the thing about sticking together, but then maturing to be able not to affect it on the court, right? Then you go one-on-one. You go one-on-one basketball. Most other teams have that talent. You look at the LA team individually, you're playing right into their strengths. Even without LeBron there, we're going one-on-one. So I think, we're watching some of the highlights from last night, is that it's being that consistent and not letting the emotion, because I think that emotionally, when, you get it gets a physical game, you get a guy kicked out, you get the best guy kicked out, then your emotions get a little bit high, and then your thought process and your mental game, it sort of goes away and it gets to be more street ball. We can't afford to play that.
Right, and there is a very fine line that athletes have to play. You hype yourself up before the game. You got your music on. You're talking trash. You're doing the woof woof and doing whatever you can to get yourself going. But you can't get too emotional where you forget about playing the game the right way. So, and I think what happened, the Pistons got so emotional that they forgot how to play the right way. But the great thing is time will settle them down. I think long term, this is going to be good for them. They're going to be more hyped up, more of a team, but they won't be so hyped up that they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
I think last night they forgot how to play basketball.
Did it remind you, Terry, like, was there a moment back before the Bad Boys, before all this stuff, but like the sort of galvanizing moments when you see that they're trying to learn how to play together, trying to get developed, but they that they have a team there. It's not like the individuals, because I feel team with, like, they have to play like a team, but I feel like they like each other. Like this.
And I think a key moment we saw in there, we saw Cade Cunningham talking to Isaiah Stewart. Now, Isaiah Stewart probably wasn't really listening to him at the moment, but he didn't push him away and say, get out of my face, because you don't know what you're talking about. He sort of, he sat there. It was a little bit calm with Cade Cunningham. So that's a good sign for me.
No, that is a great sign, and it goes back to the fact that, Cade, the maturity, the leadership, but it also, too, what we see, but it plays out to what the players show us, even in the most intense time.